This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, insights into our founding documents, sponsored by Santa Rosa Volunteers, here in Santa Rosa County, Florida. Santa Rosa Volunteers is available at their website, SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Federalist Paper number 3 was written by John Jay, November 3rd, 1787. Federalist John Jay again proves why he is completely ill-suited to be an advocate for the Constitution, as he continually refers to a national government instead of a federal government. He talks about how the intelligent people want a strong and efficient government, more like an aristocracy, and the more he delves into the question of why something more akin to a monarchy should exist to govern the states, who obviously can't govern themselves collectively, the more he is convinced of his own self-righteousness. It is easy to understand, if John Jay was an advocate for the Constitution, why the Anti-Federalists had such a target-rich environment for political ridicule and warning. So let's consider John Jay's own words as he tries to advocate for the Constitution with the theme that a strong national government is the only way to repel foreign invasions, something a bunch of colonial states had recently done to the most powerful nation on earth. Mark Levin, on one of his shows, made very clear the difference between a national government and a federal one. A national government is all top to bottom. The national government rules the nation. The national government is supreme to the states to the counties, and the counties to the cities. A federal government is something completely different. The words are not interchangeable. A federal government is where the federal government has limited powers, restrictions, and prohibitions delegated to it in a constitution. It is the states that create the federal government and therefore do the delegating of power. Those powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states or to the people. A federal government separates the powers, not stratifies them. Since the federal government didn't realize all this, because the Federalists, like John Jay, were more like nationalists, the 10th Amendment, the last of the Bill of Rights, was written to make it abundantly clear. To this day, one of our biggest and most important challenges is reserving those powers retained by the states and the people from an ever stronger nationalist government, which has grown way beyond the intent and language of the Constitution. One has to wonder if the Federalists did not intend this outcome all along. And now for John Jay's own words in Federalist number 3. John Jay starts this long sentence talking about how well-informed and intelligent Americans, in other words, people who agree with him, say the people of America have so long and uniformly entertained of the importance of their continuing firmly united under one federal government, vested with sufficient powers for all general and national purposes. There it is, not just united, but firmly united, and under a government vested with sufficient powers for all general and national purposes. That does not sound like a limited federal government. General and national purposes is a total government with no restrictions on power or jurisdiction. His argument that he is right is displayed in this quote: "The more attentively I consider and investigate the reasons which appear to have given birth to this opinion, the more I become convinced that they are cogent and conclusive." He is confusing being right with self-righteousness. In a reversal of Ben Franklin, who said, "If you give up freedom for alleged safety, you get neither," John Jay says, "Among the many objects to which a wise and free people find it necessary to direct their attention, that of providing for their safety seems to be the first." One might question his arrogance, that his contempt for those who don't see the world as he does, they can't be considered wise, and therefore their opinions don't matter. We have a government now mandating our safety, with an experimental messenger RNA shot not approved by the FDA, but forced through a declaration of emergency, through an emergency use authorization for an alleged pandemic with a high death and injury rate from that vaccine, all for our safety. This is the logical and terrible expression of basing a government on safety instead of freedom. The essence of a free people is that we provide for our own safety, and the government protects our life, liberty, and property so we can pursue our happiness. John Jay makes it worse with the very next sentence, saying, the safety of the people doubtless has relation to a great variety of circumstances and considerations, and consequently avoids great latitude to those who wish to define it precisely and comprehensively. And how exactly would a national government define our safety precisely and comprehensively? What would that government do precisely and comprehensively to ensure that safety as they define it? That is a huge usurpation of power for the national government John Jay is advocating, and has little, if any, relationship to a limited constitutional government. The answer to that question is the history of everything done for our safety instead of our freedom, from the ratification of the Constitution up to the current COVID lockdowns, mask mandates, and complete denial of the Constitution or our rights. There is so much wrong with John Jay's government supremacist orientation that I can't cover it all in one founding moment. So let me leave you with this one paragraph of his government by the elite for the good of the people, as they see it, of course, where only good and just men will consent to serve, picked by the aristocracy to make the government efficient, which is far more preferable to a government of independent states doing whatever they want, exercising their freedom, and not considering the safety of the people. Worst of all is the raising of the specter of foreign invasion, that if we don't have a government of the best rather than the elected, we won't be safe. If we aren't fully united, we risk invasion. There is no other reality or outcome possible. Listen carefully to this last paragraph and see what you pick up. When once an efficient national government is established, the best men in the country will not only consent to serve, but also will generally be appointed to manage it, for although town or country or other contracted influence may place men in state assemblies, or senates, or courts of justice, or executive departments, yet more general and extensive reputation for talents and other qualifications will be necessary to recommend men to offices under the national government, especially as it will have the widest field for choice and never experience that want of proper persons, which is not uncommon in some states. Hence, it will result that the administration, the political councils, and the judicial decisions of the national government will be more wise, systematical, and judicious than those of individual states, and consequently more satisfactory with respect to other nations, as well as more safe with respect to us. And now you know why we are where we are. This man never writes about elections as the people's choice, or legislatures as the primary government representation of the people. John Jay went on to be the first Supreme Court Chief Justice, and elitists like him, since our founding, have gone to every corner of the then federal, but really now national government, doing everything for our safety and their prosperity while destroying our freedom. The source for the Federalist Papers is federalistpapers.org. The Anti-Federalist Papers are from selfeducatedamerican.com. This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, sponsored by Santa Rosa Volunteers. Their website again is SRV1776.com. Please share this report to anyone who needs it.